This aim training regimen that I've developed for myself is something that I based originally off of Hiko's challenge, which you can see now on the screen. This is something that I typically do if I feel that I need the practice and I know that I have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of a night to practice aim training if I feel that I need it. If I know that I'm going to be going into a match, I will typically only spend about 10 to 15 minutes in the first map that you're going to see, which is aimbots. Otherwise, this is typically what I do when I know that I'm not going to be playing a match that night and I may be playing another game that night, or maybe I have limited time. So let's go. So the first thing that I'll do is I will go to a map called aimbots, and what I will do is I will filter off the 3 sides that are not facing the control panel that you see in front of you. And what I'll do is I will take an AK with the bots having head armor, and I will essentially flick to their heads and kill them. And I do this for 250 kills as a warm-up before I do the 100 kills challenge, which you're going to see next. So the next thing I'll do is I will get a suppressed M4, the M4A1S, and what I'll do is I will do the 100 kills challenge. Recently, the map developer of this particular map had put in a little control panel on the right-hand side to allow you to time yourself to see how long it takes you to get 100 kills. So what I'll do is I will get the M4, I will set the bots to only have no head armor, and then I will do the test, and I'll try to get under 100 kills under 1 minute, 3 times in a row. The next thing that I'll do is I'll go into a headshot-only deathmatch server and get 100 kills with the AK. There weren't a whole lot of people in the server when I went to record this, which is why I have so few clips to show you. In fact, headshot-only deathmatch servers are pretty sparse to begin with, and there's not usually a whole lot of people playing in them. But if I can get the time in there, I would definitely suggest spending the time, because it's a good way to kind of focus on the skills that you were just working on in the aimbots map. The next thing that I'll do is I will go into just a normal deathmatch server. I suggest the Frag Shack servers from ESCA because they have the best reg and the best latency, in my opinion. But what I'll do is I do 3 sets of 100 kills. So the first 100 kills are 100 kills aiming at the head with an AK, and then the second 100 kills is with an M4 spraying at the head, and then the remaining the remaining 100 kills are still in the normal deathmatch server, but tapping at the head with the AK. Now, the thing to consider is that when you're in a deathmatch server, it's important to understand that you don't really need to care about your actual kill-death ratio, because you're not going to normally get fair fights. And the thing that you truly need to be focusing on is the fact that when you're in a deathmatch server, focus on the kills that you think you could viably get. So, for example, that kill right there, that's something I could have viably won. But what's important is to understand that if you get killed in the side of the head or from behind you 100 or 10 times in a row, it's okay. It doesn't matter. What you need to focus on is what you can viably shoot and kill that is in front of you. The purpose of deathmatch is to not break your wrist while doing crazy, 180 degree turns to fucking get the person behind you. There's no point in that. What you should be focusing on is what's in front of you and what you can viably kill. So just to give you an example of that, what I'll do right now is I'll just commentate this and I'll tell you some kills that I maybe should have gotten or not should have gotten. So that's one right there that I maybe should have gotten, but then again, he did have an op and he peeked me pretty quick. That one right there, that's not my fault. I just spawned right in, and there's no way I could have gotten that, and he already was pre-aiming the angle. And then you'll also notice too that there's some there's some kills that I get here, like that one right there, that's just not fair for the other person. And that's kind of how you have to look at deathmatch, is that there's going to be kills that people get on you and you get on other people that's just not going to be fair for the party that's dying. You know what I mean? So, like that one right there, I should have been able to kill him in the first spray. I shouldn't have had to reset, but then again, he was moving in a non-linear angle. And then that's kind of how you got to look at this. So next, I'll just give you some quick examples of the M4, and tapping with the AK real quick. So now I'm going to give you some examples of my DM practice with the M4. One thing that I should mention that I didn't mention in the last part of the video when I was shooting the AK is that 9 times out of 10 you want to be aiming at the head and spraying at the head, because that way if someone moves at the last second you're still batching your shots around the head and you're still more than likely going to score a headshot. However, there's always that 1 time out of 10 where it's either really long range or, you know, really close range where their head is moving all across your screen really fast, and that 1 time out of 10 where it might be a slightly better idea to spray at the body in order to guarantee the kill. More times than not, I'll see people in a match, you know, where the enemy player that they're primarily shooting at is full peeking them, like full body peeking them, and they're tapping in the head. If someone's full body peeking you, spray their body, you know, and I like to always start at the head, and that way if I don't get a headshot right away, I can always pull the spray down onto their body and more or less still guarantee the kill. So start at their head, always try to get your first couple shots on the head, and then if you can't get the headshot right away, then pull the spray down onto the body and you'll still get the kill. So it turns out that I don't actually have any footage of me in a normal deathmatch server tapping with the AK. It's a little tough, but if you happen to be getting killed a lot, considering that people can easily just spray you down, you can always just replace that with more headshot only deathmatch if you want to. But anyways, after that, what you want to do is you want to come into a pistol only deathmatch server and get 100 kills with the USP and then 100 kills with the Glock. Some general shooting tips with the pistols. You typically want to aim with strafing instead of actually moving your mouse, because essentially it's much easier to hit someone in the head when you're just strafing, whereas if you're strafing and moving your mouse at the same time, because you want to take as many variables as you can when trying to score a headshot out of the equation. I don't do this as much as I should. I typically move my mouse and strafe at the same time, which is not what I should be doing, but the reason why I do it is because I'm so used to it. So, long story short, you just want to get some nice little headshots like these right here with the USP, and then you want to go ahead and move on to the Glock. So with the Glock, it's important to remember that you're not always going to get the kill with one headshot like you would with the USP or the P250 or some other gun like that. What will happen is sometimes, if you're based on the range, you're going to potentially headshot someone like I just did right there and not kill them right away. And this is called gooshing, where typically you'll do roughly, I think, 85 to 92 or so damage with a headshot. And if you see their head kick back and you see a puff of blood like I just did there, long range with that guy, you want to just start spamming them at their body. That's typically how you want to use the Glock. Just know that the reason why the Glock doesn't kill in one hit like the USP does is because it has 20 bullets, and because the USP is meant for CTs holding an angle, whereas the Glock is meant for terrorists rushing a position. So that's just one thing to bear in mind. Next, what I like to do is I like to go into a normal deathmatch server and get 100 kills with the op. The reason why I do this is because I don't feel that I'm very good with the op right now, and it's something that I can improve on. And if I were to get better with the op, I think it's something that would make me a better and more well-rounded player. I spend a lot of time DMing with rifles, but not a whole lot of time with the op, and that's something I want to get better at. Another thing to consider too is that when you're DMing with the op too, it's a good idea to, if you get pressured into a situation where you need to take out your pistol, you can do so and try your best to get headshots with it as well. Like right here, I missed my shot and I can still dink the guy and get the kill. And then here's another example right here. It's also good to practice this just for ecoing against armored targets, but that's just me, and that's one thing that I feel that I need to work on. Finally, is kind of like a cool down to all the death matching that I've just done. What I'll do is I'll come on to this aim training map. I can't remember the name of the map right now off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the video description. And what I'll do is I'll set the bots to only 6, and then I'll have them have head armor, I'll give myself God mode, and I will give myself infinite ammo, which can all be done through the control panel that you see above my head. And essentially what I do is, kind of like as a cooldown, is I will kind of just flick to these moving targets and shoot them in the head. And this isn't particularly realistic in a real match kind of sense, considering that in most normal match situations you're going to be holding an angle and waiting for someone to peek you, or you're going to be peeking predetermined angles that you think where someone might be located. But I feel that it's still a good idea to do this just to make sure that you have the muscle memory down and make sure that, you know, it's just a good way to kind of like slow things down after all the DM.